Welcome to Lengua Franca. In this video, we will cover one of the elements that can trip us up when learning Spanish. Nouns have gender. This is a weird concept for those of us who speak languages that don't show this type of behavior. What is more, this gender is shown not only on the noun itself, but also on articles and adjectives that go with the noun. This is something called agreement, and it is something that has long ago been lost in English. But Spanish, like many other languages, has agreement across all elements of the noun phrase. In this video, we will learn about how to figure out the gender of a given noun and the articles that go with each noun. This is the first of 3 videos that will cover the noun phrase. In part 2, we will come back to adjectives, and in part 3, we will talk about making adjectives and nouns plural. First off, what is gender? What is this thing and why do we need it? Why does Spanish show this on their nouns, but English not? Well, it's a bit complicated, but here's the general idea. Humans memorize and learn terminology via categories. Every human, and therefore every speech community, has different mental categories and groups terminology in certain ways. With respect to nouns, languages tend to have different ways to categorize nouns, and in many, many languages, this is based on what happens with animate biological beings. This means that the cues are taken from the nouns that refer to people and, to a lesser extent, other animals. Many centuries ago, English used to also show gender on its nouns, but that was lost a long time ago. Even in Shakespeare's time, some 400 years ago, nouns had lost their grammatical gender suffixes, and it has been this way even to this day. But Spanish? It is still going strong and not going away. So when we learn a language like Spanish, we have to think a bit differently. It seems like a tall order, but really this helps us remember vocabulary, just in a different way. Spanish has 2 and only 2 genders, feminine and masculine. That means that all nouns, no matter what they mean, no matter if they are animate or not, are considered to be either feminine or masculine. Obviously, if a noun refers to someone or something with a biological gender, it will follow that category. Nouns referring to females will always be feminine, and nouns referring to males will always be masculine. But in reality, there is a shortcut to figure out the gender of the noun, regardless of what it means. Let's take masculine gender first. Nouns that end in o, on, and or will be masculine, like 99.9% of the time. On the other hand, nouns that end in a, tad or dad, sion, and tris or esa will be feminine, like 99.9% of the time. The good news is that this takes care of the vast majority of the nouns in Spanish. They will follow this rule. In addition, in Spanish, the article, the word meaning the, or a or an, will always agree with the gender of the noun. We use el for masculine nouns and la for feminine nouns. They both mean the. So that means nouns like niño, camino, ratón, sillón, color, dolor, and actor all are masculine. We know this because of how each of the nouns ends and because the article el is with them all. You cannot have la with them. It makes no sense. Similarly, nouns like niña, silla, libertad, ciudad, lección, televisión, actriz, and princesa all are feminine. We know this because of how each of the nouns ends and because the article la is with them. You cannot have el with them. It makes no sense. Naturally, not all nouns in Spanish are going to follow the rules mentioned earlier. They do cover the vast majority of them, but there are many words that we will learn as we go down this journey of learning Spanish that do not follow the rules. there are exceptions. First exception, there are a good number of nouns that end in e or in some other way other than what we saw before. They do not fit a pattern. Some are masculine, some are feminine. So, how do we remember their assigned gender? Well, whenever we learn new vocabulary, we always learn the noun and the article that goes with it, el or la, un or una. That way, we will always remember the gender, even if the word itself cannot tell us directly. Second exception, there is a group of nouns that came into Latin, the parent language of Spanish, from Greek. In Greek, these words were all masculine, and they ended in ma, pa, and ita. The gender stayed masculine in Latin, which got passed down to Spanish. Some examples of words in this group include el mapa, el sistema, el problema, el programa, el planeta, and el dilema. There are more in this list, but not many. For this reason, it is always important to learn the article with the noun as you build your vocabulary bank. Also, be on the lookout whenever you see a word that ends in ma, pa, or eta in Spanish, that it probably will be masculine despite ending in a. The next two exceptions are really single words, very common words, but they buck the trend. El día, meaning the day, is always masculine. Yes, it ends in a, but it comes from a masculine word in Latin, dies, and it stayed masculine in Spanish. The same is true for la mano, meaning the hand. In Latin, the word was feminine, manus, and that did not change into Spanish. One note to the LGBT plus community. With respect to learning a language, and especially one with masculine and feminine gender markings for nouns, do know that socially things are changing in many areas. With greater recognition of non-binary gender and other areas with respect to gender identity, so too will the language change. But when we are learning a language, we need to solidify how the entire grammar works. So that's why it is important to get the grammatical gender right. That being said, when you are referring to yourself, use the gender that you identify with. If you identify as male, then use masculine forms of nouns and adjectives to refer to yourself. If you identify as female, then go feminine with your nouns and adjectives. If you are non-binary, well, right now there isn't a great option for you, at least not one that is generally accepted. In various dialects of Spanish, there are different solutions. But do know that this has a strong potential to change. Hopefully, your instructors will understand. And with that, we conclude this video on gender and articles in Spanish. This is a bit of a lengthy video, I know, but hopefully it helped you to understand the basics of gender in Spanish. Make sure to check out Part 2 on adjectives and Part 3 on number and agreement. Please like the video and leave any comments or questions that you have. Don't forget to subscribe to Lingua Franca's YouTube channel, which has more videos on Spanish grammar and much more. Oh, and please check out our Patreon page if you are at all interested in supporting us in our work. Hasta pronto. Adiós.